swear I'm a professional. Welcome to the official, unofficial Sea of Thieves podcast, a podcast dedicated to Sea of Thieves and other rare games, but mainly Sea of Thieves. Today, we are discussing the competitive side of Sea of Thieves. And we are not just talking about Arena, but more about those groups of players that want to be the very best of crews in the competitive scene. Specifically, we will be talking about the Notorious Arena League, or NAL for short. This league is hosting different seasons that only the best of the best have a chance of winning. And spoiler alert, I am not one of those. However, on this episode, we have a brand new guest who actually does compete and is quite at home in the competitive scene of this game.
Yo, what up? My name's Pomp. I'm the helm for High and Dry.
Welcome. It's nice to have new guests on the podcast. You do stream as well, right? Is that correct?
That's true. I do, in fact, stream.
Where can people find you?
My Twitch name is Pompu. It's just Pomp with a U.
All right, nice. Nice to have you here. I've been long wanting to do a discussion about this subject, so I'm really happy you found the time to be on this podcast. Real quick, before we start, since this is my podcast, I want to promote my Discord real quick. Still very new, but you can ask me questions and send me clips for my YouTube channel. I also have a chat with me and my crew, so if you want that, the link will be somewhere below. So let's get to our main discussion of the day. That's the NAL. So if I got this right, and I might be wrong, the NAL started with just some guys trying to make their own competitive Sea of Thieves league, and Rare got wind of this. Rare's not that directly involved, but they do lend out servers so the NAL can host their seasons. Is that correct?
Yeah, so as far as I know, the Notorious Arena League, which is what NAL stands for, it was started by a core group of really, really old players that are called the Cutthroats. And they came to Rare with an idea for an arena league to, have some competition in the game. And then Rare liked the idea. They gave it to them. They gave them private servers, and then they also gave them rewards that you can get for it.
Nice. So exclusive rewards that players can earn. Is it correct?
Yes, you get exclusive sales you can only earn by winning the entire thing.
Oh, nice. Talk about exclusivity. But what's the difference, say, with Sea of Champions, the other Sea of Thieves league?
So NAL is an entire season. You play for 2 months through like a brutal gauntlet of just brawls, and then which all leads up to one grand finals day. And then Sea of Champions on the other side is condensed into a weekend. It's more of a tournament than a season. And also, Sea of Champions uses 4 boats, whereas the Notorious Arena League uses 5.
All right, gotcha. Are there sloops in NAL or is it just galleons?
There's only galleons in NAL. However, Sea of Champions does have a sloop league they do.
All right, gotcha. Are those the same players that are competing, or is there a difference in players as well?
So I would say Sea of Champions has a lot more how do I put it? They have a lot more random people signing up for it than NAL, because NAL is a big commitment. And Sea of Champions, you can just, you can play that in a weekend to be done with it.
Yeah, that's my impression as well, because in the NAL you actually have crews that try to bond together, train together, and make a perfect team to be really serious about competing. Is it growing since the NAL started? Because how many seasons are there now?
So we just started season 5 of the NAL, and from my understanding, it is growing exponentially. We've actually, the NAL went from only having 2 leagues, now they have 4 entirely different leagues because there's so many teams now.
What's the difference between those leagues?
They've separated them into regions for ping. So last season, we had some people in the North American League who were from South America playing on like 350 ping. This was Death Omen, and you know what? They actually did really well. I got a lot of respect for Death Omen, but this season they asked Rage Trucks. They're like, if we can get enough. Rage Trucks is the person who runs NAL, by the way. They asked him if we can get enough teams, can we make our own league? And he was just like, hell yeah. So now they have a South American league, and then the Asian league spawned the same way.
All right, cool. So it started with just North America then?
It started with just North America, and then it expanded to Europe, and now it's expanded. It just keeps going.
Nice. So for every region there is a league you can compete in. That's quite nice. And the rewards are always the same, right?
Yes, every league, the reward is the sales.
All right. Yeah, let's dive into those rewards a little bit. Because you said they have exclusive cosmetics, and those are sales, or is there anything else, or is it just the sales?
They're called the Notorious Sales. First of all, they have their like it's its own item in the game. That's so cool. Like these are sales you can only get from winning an entire tournament. It's crazy. It's one of the rarest items you can get in the game. Who wouldn't want that?
Yeah, and for people who are listening or watching this on YouTube, I'll probably show the sales right now. So if you look at the video, you can see what you can earn. And I have to say, those look nice, but they look, I think, 100 times nicer because they are so exclusive. So if you win a season, every crew member get the sales. Is that correct?
Yes.
But crews are
Every crew member who participates.
right. That's what I want to ask because crews are well, a team is bigger than a crew, right?
Yes. So for my team, we have 8 people on my team. And I can only explain how my team works. I'm not very familiar how others work.
All right.
So my team, we have 5 core members. We have me, One Dude Army, Rickology, Flaccid Nanner, and Just Believe. That's our solid 5. These are the people we want to play with during the season. And then everybody else is there to fill in when somebody isn't there and just practice, keep the team fresh. And, we're all just working towards making those 5 play as well as they can and send them out.
But in the finals, one of those is going to be left out for the sales, or am I getting that wrong? Or
No.
how does it work?
So how they do it in NAL, every single person who plays during the season. So if I put you on my team and you played one game in the NAL and then we went and won the whole season, you would get the sales too, because you helped us.
Oh, does that count for qualifiers as well?
Qualifiers doesn't count. You got to get into the league first.
Too bad. I don't want to mess your strategy up by just joining.
We're full. Sorry, man.
Well, I'm not good enough. It's all right. Because I have played with you guys before, and it is different. I mean, I like Arena. I really like Arena, and I don't really like the way we're treated Arena the last couple of months. But that's despite the point, and I won't go into an entire rant of that. But when I played with you guys, I was like, damn, you guys have callouts for cannons. Like each cannon has a number. Your baiting strategies are really on point. So it's a whole different way of playing. Would you say so?
Compared to casual play, how NAL players see the game is just completely different. Just because like what we see as we're under a lot of pressure is something that you will never experience unless you are an NAL player.
Because matches, they differ a little bit from regular arena matches as well, right? Because you don't really go for chests.
No, the chest isn't worth it. The time it would take to get the chest to the outpost you would lose more points than you could gain.
All right. So can you tell me the overall strategy or the overall play one can expect when watching a NAL match?
When watching an NAL match, you can constantly expect every single boat trying to find opportunities to maximize their points. So that usually involves cutting off a boat that's already fighting, third partying them, or catching a boat, cutting in front of them or cutting behind them to shoot at them in places they can't shoot at them, getting serious wraps around the boats. It's just stuff like that. You'll see a lot of because NAL matches are different than arena. Every boat knows what they're doing, so it's a lot of chess. Honestly, it feels like chess a lot of the time. You're trying to predict what your opponent's about to do, like 7 seconds before they're going to do it, because you need to start countering them then because of how slow the galleon is turning.
Do you think that's a key element of being a good NEL player, like that anticipation, like knowing what the other is going to do?
Specifically a helm. I can only speak from a
Hmm.
helm's perspective, and I will say the helms see the games very different than any other perspective because
Yeah,
we're the eyes of the ship, whereas the cannons are the arms punching.
definitely. And I watched just before this podcast. I watched the qualifiers. We'll go in depth to the qualifiers a little bit later. But yesterday you guys had qualifiers. Now I'm rewatching that, and I watched you specifically because you are the helmsman. And if you want to have the best view, you should watch the helmsman. I think that's the best way to watch an NEL match. Works out for you. So one thing I want to real quick, I want to jump back to the rewards because there's one thing we haven't discussed when we're talking about that. We talked about the sales and that they have a unique design. If I'm correct, that design was came from the community.
It sounds like something they would do.
All
I'm
right.
not sure, but that sounds like it.
I think somebody proposed the design and some developer at Rare actually made it into those sales. I think that's the origin of that cosmetic.
That's definitely how it happened.
All right, but but apart from that, that beautiful cosmetic, that beautiful, trophy, so to say, there are also cash rewards. Am I right?
Yes, that's true.
So how much can you earn?
So it all depends. How they do the cash, it depends on their donation, their stream revenue. So basically, the bigger the NAL gets, the bigger the players get rewarded. Because they go off of donations, subs. I think it's 70% of all the revenue goes to the prize pool, and then the other 30% goes into improving the NAL.
Nice. That's a good way to handle that. So, what was the cash prize, the main cash prize last season then?
So, I think second place went home with I think they all left with like $30. There was like 5 of them, and they all split it. Like when it was split 5 ways, it was like $30. Yeah.
I didn't know the rewards going into the podcast. I only knew there were cash rewards and was thinking, oh, maybe 100 or 1,000 maybe, but nope, just $30. Still, it's nice. It's nice. It's more about the glory. It's not about the gold. It's about the glory.
Exactly. It was funny because third place gets obsidian capstans.
Ooh.
Third place in the NAL,
Nice.
which is worth more than the $30 the second place got, because they're supposed to get it's supposed to work. So first place gets the sales and most of the money, and then second place is supposed to get a lot of the money, and then third place is just supposed to get a cosmetic and a little bit of the money if it works out that way. But instead, third place got a lot more in value than second place last season.
I really like that set, but I never play it because I don't have the capstan and I don't like to play incomplete sets. So, yeah. Oh, I'm hoping you guys will get third place now. Can ask
No.
one of you to
No, actually, the NAL does a giveaway in between every set of the NAL. They do a giveaway for an obsidian capstan, so you should go to the live stream when they're streaming and try to get in on that.
Nice. And this is also a great tip for all the listeners. Yeah, you can win a code during the breaks. So another reason to watch the NAL. What stream is that they need to watch? Because that's not going to be a stream of one of the crews, right?
It's just twitch.tv/Notorious Arena League.
All right. So if you want to chance on the caps, then make sure you follow that channel. So let's dive into the seasons. I want to really get a grasp on what a season looks like. Like, what is the structure of the season? How does it start and how does it end? And how do the crews are competing and who's going to stay, who's going to fall off? So what can you tell about the structure of the season?
So the structure of the season is there's 10 teams, and it's broken into 2 different brackets. You have your pro division and your semi-pro division. So pro division, top 3 at the end automatically qualify for grand finals, and then bottom 2 fall into what's called the round of fate, which is basically the top 2 from round of fate go into grand finals, And they also use the people from semi-pro, the top 3.
So, and how do the finals look like then?
The finals is the top 3 teams from the pro division, and then the 2 winners from the round of fate all go
Nice.
in and they play 7 games, and then winner takes all.
And it's all based on points, or how does the point system work? Do you add everything up, or is it just if you won
The-
first place match, you get 2 points, or how does it work?
The NAL has a scoring system. First place gets you 9 points, second 7, third 5, fourth 3, and fifth 2.
Right, and then after the points are added, they decide the winners.
Yep.
All right. So yesterday were the qualifiers. Are there any more qualifiers coming up?
Nope. They only have 1 qualifier for the season. It's all done.
All right. And I'm guessing you guys qualified.
Yes, we did in fact qualify.
Nice. Well, that's great. High and dry qualified. It's kind of a bit of a spoiler since I still need to watch the end of it. But let's be honest. The way you guys were playing those first 2 matches, I'm like, yeah, this is a done deal. These guys have trained. These guys are on point. They're definitely going to qualify. So yeah, congratulations, man. It's really nice to hear.
Thank you.
So what does that mean? So now you're qualified, and then next weekend you're gonna play a new match, or you need to help me. What's gonna be next week?
So not next week, but the week following, we enter the brawl stage, which then we're fighting for our placement in pro division or semi-pro division.
All right. Anything else you want to add to those seasons, or do you think our listeners know what the structure is by now?
I think the structure's pretty simple, honestly.
Well, yeah, actually it is. But the first time somebody explained it to me, I was like, "What the hell are you guys talking about? Skirmishes, qualifiers, leagues of fate?" I'm like, "Yeah, just." And then the point system is also a little bit different, so it's a lot to take in. If you're not familiar with this, you need to watch a couple of matches too, of course.
Yeah. All you need to take away from it is in the grand finals, just know the best teams are there because once you get into the season, it's very fair.
Mm-hmm. And what would you advise to the listeners of this podcast if they want to watch NAL matches? Just begin watching with the qualifiers, or just watch a couple of finals first?
So I would just try to catch the NAL stream when it's live and just try to absorb what's going on. Sea of Thieves is very hard to watch from a spectator point of view if you want to watch every team. So my best advice for you would be to find teams you like and just watch them.
Yeah,
and see how they do.
Definitely, because there are a lot of teams, right? How many teams are there in total?
There's 10 in the league.
Did that change much over the years? Were you there for season 1 as well, or how did that go?
So actually, High and Dry only formed at the start of last season. We're pretty new to the entire NAL.
So did he play with another team before that?
I was just introduced to NAL last season. Really?
Oh, nice. Because I know Flaccid Nanner competed with another team first before joining you guys.
Yes, we have 2 players who have played in the NAL before. We have Flaccid and we have Ragiest Cage. They were both on the Associates in the season prior.
That's true. So it's nice that it kind of feel like an official sport. One team kind of buying other players from another team to have the best one. So that's interesting. That's nice. Makes it sound even more competitive than it is. And it is already pretty competitive. So 10 teams are competing right now. Finals is only for 5. Is there much difference in between the teams? Do you think High and Dry has a different style compared to another crew, or doesn't that really make that much difference?
So there's definitely difference in play styles. Especially as a helm, I'm able to see all of the teams' play styles, and there are different play styles. So how I look at it, there's aggressive teams. So we have High and Dry is a very aggressive team, and the other really aggressive team I can tell you right off the bat is Salt Miners. They're another extremely. They like to just get in your face and they want to overwhelm you the same way High and Dry does. And then you have defensive teams, which is how Sloop Deluxe plays. They're a very they're a very defensive style team, reactive rather than proactive.
All right, that's nice. That's the difference in between those. Yeah. Can anyone start their own team?
Yep, you can sign up for your own team right now and start practicing. And you can get into the scrim nights they have every Friday.
All right. So, what if people are interested in that? What would you advise to do? What are the steps they need to take?
So, first of all, before you even think about starting an NAL team, you need to go watch some NAL games and know what you're getting yourself into. Then, you need to find yourself what you think are the best players you know who can work well together all together. After that, you need to figure out who's going to do what roles. So there's 4 roles on an NAL team. There's Helm, there's Main Cannoneer, there is your support player, and there is your Bilge. And everybody needs to know which one of their roles are and what their job is. So after you have all of that figured out, then you can go to notoriousarenaleague.com and register your team. Sign up on the website, join the Discord, and you can get into the scrim nights just like everybody else.
All right, nice. So make sure you're good.
Make
and
sure you're ready.
Say you yourself are like really, really good, but all of your friends suck. Is it possible for a solo player to join an existing team?
Yes, you can join as a free agent and put out an ad, and then hopefully a team
Kind of
will.
like selling yourself.
Yeah. Hopefully a team will pick you up. That's how we found Flaccid.
All right, nice. He's definitely good. For the listeners who don't know, Flaccid is actually a longtime crew member of mine, and it's thanks to him that Pomp is also on this podcast. But yeah, one of the High and Dry members is actually a really old crew member of mine. I'm sure you've seen him in my videos. So I'm just going through the topics here. Oh yeah, we talked about how matches are a little bit different. That you don't really go for a chest. That you really go for, going for the points, and the most points wins. And it's all about farming that. But are there any other rules like self-imposed rules? Like, can you spawn kill an entire galleon, for example? Is it allowed?
So how they do that, how they do these rules is as long as you are playing to win, what you're doing is allowed. And you need to be able to justify, like if you're going to quad board a ship, for example, you need to be able to justify why you are doing that. If you're just griefing somebody, that's not allowed. That's all they ask.
All right, well, that's fair enough. Because normally when you think of like those high competitive players, people think, all right, those can be quite rude sometimes too. There's probably a lot of swearing in the league, or am I wrong?
Oh, potty mouths? Yeah, everybody has a potty mouth, but honestly, the NAL players are pretty tame for the most part.
That was my impression too. Like I thought it's gonna be some really salty dudes. We're gonna hear some really bad shit aimed at other people, but that's not the case at all. It is actually people are really nice. Yeah, obviously if you get hit a couple of times, there's some swearing involved, obviously, but it's not never aimed at somebody. So that's something I really want to say, that it is pretty welcoming environment, the league, for sure. I mean, you agree with that, right, Pump?
Honestly, the scene is so small. The NAL is a little family, dude. Like we're all competitive and we all want to go for each other's throats during the game, but out of the game, everybody has respect for each other, or at least that's how I see it.
Yeah, that's the impression I got too. So that's really nice to know. So we do have some time left, and the things I want to discuss, if we have time left, and we do, are some of the pro strategies you guys use. Like I said before, like we discussed earlier, we talked a little bit about strategies. I told you that I've played with you guys, and I was really overwhelmed about the amount of skill you guys possess, because I'm used to some stuff. Obviously, I'm pretty good for an Xbox player, but man, playing with you guys is a totally different, game. So can you elaborate a little bit on those pro strategies you guys are using?
So a lot of people use grate bucketing, which is right by the map table. There's a grate above you, and you're able to throw the water out of the deck through that grate if you can aim it right. That's what a lot of NAL teams use primarily. That's one strategy.
Mhm.
There's also fire strat some of the NAL teams use, which is if you throw a firebomb down and then you pick up a bucket of water and light yourself on fire. If you throw that bucket of water on yourself, it voids it. It won't go back into the hull. So then you just pick up another bucket of water and light yourself back on fire, and you just keep doing that to bail. That's another one that NAL teams use.
Indeed, and that's a good tip too. And also the environment is a little bit different because you guys number your cannons, right?
Yeah, so the key to a successful NAL team is organization, and one of the keys to organization is knowing what cannon every person should be on, so nobody's ever on your cannon, and you can get on it as fast as possible. So we have assigned cannons for players to make sure that just to make everything clear as day.
Nice. Yeah, and it definitely works. Before, like the cannon closest to the helm is always free, so if the helmsman needs to shoot, that cannon is always available for him, and there's no confusion or whatsoever. Things go really smooth. And you need that, right? Because you need to focus on other things instead of who is on what cannon, obviously. Any other strategy you think you might want to share with us?
Another thing that NAL teams do is they stagger their cannonballs. So they'll have two people on the cannon line, and they'll have one of them shoot 5 cannonballs and then go get more. So that way, when the other person's out, the first person still has 5 cannonballs and can keep shooting them. So we can't get overwhelmed.
Nice. And I haven't seen that before, but now that I know, I will I will probably see it
It's
quite
something. It's
quite
something
more
you
often.
won't see unless you know it's happening.
Yeah, indeed. And that's good. I mean, it shows you guys are really, committed to growing at the best. Do you guys think you have a chance of reaching to finals this season?
I think if we keep playing at the consistent rate we've been playing, there's nothing stopping us from getting to finals.
Nice. Can't hardly wait. I'll be there watching every match for sure. Only later since I do live on the other side of the ocean. Um, so we have some final questions. I want to ask you to close the podcast off. How do you see the future of competitive Sea of Thieves play?
I think the NAL is about to hit a big spike in popularity with all of these new regions and it becoming more of a worldwide thing. I think there's only growth in the future for the NAL. And I really, really, really hope that once we grow to a point where Rare can't ignore us, that they help us. That's my only hope. I
What
hope they
kind?
don't suppress us and they help us.
Well, they have been suppressing Arena a little bit over the past months. Like the last edition, and I say edition, was the banning of voice communication. Um, what are your thoughts on that?
Um, my NAL team would have never been formed if arena communication was not there because I met one dude Army in Sloop Arena by absolutely on him. And then we became friends and went and played Galley Arena. And then, 8 months later, he's calling me to make an NAL team because I'm one of the best players he's ever played with. And here we are today going for those sales together. So honestly, it's a real shame that Rare can't figure out their they can't figure out how to ban people appropriately and permanently. So people just keep making new accounts. So then they're saying that all of the reports are coming from Arena, but it's all coming from the same 150 people that you guys cannot ban efficiently. And it's really just a shame that the masses get punished for the small vocal minority, but that's life, right?
Well, I sure hope Rare is listening because those words do make a lot of sense. Also, Rare stated that they're not gonna, make Arena grow anymore. They're happy the way it is now. Well, at least they say that, but who can really believe them? Do you think Rare should have invested more in Arena?
I absolutely believe that Sea of Thieves as a competitive esport could be substantially bigger if the developer was behind it helping it, because there are so many games that with developer support you would like. Have you ever heard of the game Brawlhalla?
No, it does ring a bell, but I can't put it in my mind right
It's
now.
like a 2D it's kind of like a Smash Brothers game, like that kind of game.
All right.
Okay. So that game with developer
Mhm.
support, you've vaguely heard about this game. That game in 2019, they had a grand finals. That grand finals video on YouTube, you can go look it up. It has over 1 million views on it of this
All
game
right.
you've never heard of, and that's because a developer is supporting their competitive scene. That's the power of a
All
developer
right.
pushing your competitive scene. The Notorious Arena League, even in grand finals, can't hit 300 viewers, and that is directly related to not having developer support when
Nice.
Sea of Thieves has millions of players.
Yeah. Yeah. It is something. So yeah, a little bit positive. NAL is growing, so that's always good to know. Hopefully, you guys will get noticed by Rare even more, and
Yes,
let's grow this competitive scene because it is definitely nice.
the good thing
Um,
about NAL, like I was saying earlier, where they're kind of a family, is even the players are invested in it growing. So there's a lot of discussion from the players and the staff about what they should do. How do we keep this project growing? And it's very constructive and positive in there on
nice.
making the scene as big as it can be. So the grassroots scene is honestly growing, and I don't think there's any stopping it. I think it's just going to keep growing as long as the games, as long as there's two teams that want to be better than each other and prove it in competition. I think the NAL will keep going.
And the best way for people to support NAL, what would you say that is?
Watch the streams, get involved in the community. You don't even have to be a player, and you can join the Discord and give your thoughts, give us suggestions, tell your friends about the NAL, support some teams. Just, just get involved if you like it. See if it's for you.
Nice. And with that, we've also come to the end of the podcast. So if you like these discussions with other Sea of Thieves YouTubers and streamers, hey, don't forget to leave a thumbs up. It really helps this podcast out. And join the Discord. Link will be in the description. So I would like to thank Pomp for joining. And can you tell our listeners where they can find you?
You can find me on twitch.tv/pompu. That's mainly where you can find me. Just drop a follow, whatever. That's all.
When is the next match? Real quick.
Hold on, I gotta look it up. Yes, next Brawl stage is February 27th at 6 p.m. Eastern Time.
All right, make sure you give it a watch. And I myself can be found in this very channel you're listening to this podcast on, so please subscribe if you don't want to miss any future podcasts. And after that, go to Pump, give him a subscribe or a follow or whatever it is people on Twitch do. So yeah, do that. And that's it. That's the podcast. Thank you very much for listening. Do something daring and have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Peace.